Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes rather trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
But through our own lens, loves, which can be, full of plums and bitters and rum punch, whatever things.
And
But,
Christmas goose.
but at the end of the day, hopefully morally sweet. Everyone hates me. They're like, leave the accents to Wah. Listen, I'm so sorry. But we're so happy to have you here. Hi. Hey, hello, governor. If you're on Patreon right now, then you know that I'm wearing like what looks like a ridiculous hat. And it very much informed the like poor choice of accents that like I made you listen to in the first part of this intro. But I will tell you, this is my new shower cap and I love it.
She looks like a scullery maid. If any of you watched Downton
Golden
Abbey,
Age. Mm.
the first season, she looks like I can't remember her name, but the girl who was cleaning out fire pits before she got taken on to the kitchen. Did you ever, speaking of Downton Abbey, Chris, and we talked
No,
about last episode,
no,
never?
no,
Oh. Now, this,
no.
you need, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Go on.
You need to. You're
I
going to
know.
love it. You're going to love it. I can't, all of those other shows we talked about yesterday, I can't guarantee you're going to love it. But Downton motherfucking Abbey, you would love that shit. Okay.
I know it. I know it. I also love Gilded Age. So, I mean, very much.
We're here to
This is
talk
what we're
about
talking about?
No, 90 Day Fiancé, Record the 90 Days, Season 6, The Tell-All, Part 1. I'm Sean Robinson. Her wig was great. It was a good wig.
She always looks flawless and she always looks so strong. Her cadence, it just is, I don't know. The cadence for the show is so funny because it very much always feels like she has not watched it ever, just shows up and gets in her like earpiece fed things, but she's just like, okay, let me say this. Gino and Jasmine, are you sick of what, crying all the time? Is that what it says? Crying? She's always crying. Like she has this moment where she just feels like the ways that she asks things, you can tell in the subtlety, like that there's a care that she doesn't, it's not with the right intention of someone who like knows what she's talking about in a very like fan orientated way, which has always come off as being thusly somewhat professional because there is really a carelessness of very much like, I don't care about you, this is what my job is, and I always ask questions and my, and like that kind of thing, which, I think is in that coldness and that curtness incredibly professional. But this is 90 Day Fiance, a tell-all. It's bananas. It's just as this gets more and more on, this is such a weird choice.
It really is. It seemed like a good choice before 90 Day Fiance was the phenomenon that it was. But I'm going to tell you, our dear friend Michelle Collins,
I know
because Michelle, it felt like Michelle actually watched the show. Whereas you're right. It feels like Sean doesn't, and that she's unable to call people on their BS. Like she doesn't have any like reactions. We need like reactions. She doesn't give it to us.
You know what it'd be like? Oh, go ahead.
And it's because of the professionalism. But let me tell you, Chris, Jasmine was coming for her fucking job. Jasmine said, I'm going to ask the questions. Did you not feel that? Did you not feel that Jasmine gave herself so much screen time because she was always asking follow-up questions?
I can see your point now, but no, I got really statted. I got a Statler. I got a Statler happy tell all for me. So that's who's really taking my attention. But yeah, I agree. I agree. But yeah, but here we are, and she still is, very good at her job. But in the sense of she really can carry it. She can get a show done, and it is a shit show. So I don't, I can't imagine what it's like. And she somehow is pulls it all together. Maybe her superpower is her professionalism and just that she can get this shit done. I mean, maybe it's just so crazy that like you need her like voice of reason. And by voice of reason, someone who doesn't even watch the show is reasonable enough to watch it. But okay, so obviously this is like, we're gonna watch it as it comes. Everyone's gonna kind of like saunter in, and one big new thing is that this tell-all is taped in front of a live studio audience
who makes no noise. The audience is silent and they laugh, giggle one time.
they showed what feels like two people over and over again. A beautiful, like either like black or like like Latina person, I would assume, maybe with like her hair pulled back, and maybe one other white lady the entire time in their close-up shots. And the reason why I bring this up is because it makes me feel like the studio audience had two people in it.
And the studio audience doesn't watch 90 Day Fiancé either. No one who watches this show. So our first scene we've got is Misha walking in, and she's like, in her professional manner too, she's like, we're walking into a den of wolves. And I feel like that's a biblical reference. I'm not sure, but most things are in my vernacular. Then we've got Statler, who's like, I'm okay. Yes, I know where the toilets are. And I just will never be comfortable talking about my irritable bowel syndrome. Like, I mean, I get it's a part of people's lives, but maybe you just have to get over it. But I don't think I would. So Statler is there, and she says that Misha looks like a movie star. And I like that for Misha. And then she says, but she's Catholic, and so she'll probably hate me. And that's when I was like, girl, don't nobody got time to hate you. Listen, Misha was of the world. In and of the world before she became Catholic 10 years ago. So it's not all of a sudden she's going to turn homophobic. Like that doesn't work like that. People just don't assume negative behavior because they become a religion.
I know it. There's so many funny things that happen like throughout this tell-all. Like, for instance, obviously Statler is at odds with Nicola, like Bob's McGobs, and Nicholas is going to go on to say all the things that we know that he believes, which is like real cisgender, like traditional man and woman, kind of situations, right? Like, obviously. But one thing is, again, in the zeitgeist of the pop culture Instagram world, Statler came onto Amanda's Instagram and was like, Amanda, you're low-key a hero for like what you've done. In this tell-all, Amanda, after Nicola says all the crazy shit, she's like, you know what? Here's the thing. I believe what he says. No, I'm like on his side. I believe what he says too. I don't like them trans people. Sorry, Chloe, I don't know. And like lesbians, I don't get because you should be with a guy. Sorry, Statler. Like, I feel like she comes with that energy, and Statler like goes on Amanda's page and like calls her a hero. It's interesting how obviously Statler, you're gonna have issues with Nicola, and Nicola is gonna on TV say what the fuck he wants. But you also have a white woman right in front of you, in the flesh, that you for some reason heroize or idolize, who like believes kind of the same shit.
She said that she's deeply religious, and I was like, well, then you are a whore. Why are you over there in this other country sleeping with this man, you deeply religious whore? So I like to listen, I was a Christian, a hardcore Christian for a long time, so I will judge other fake Christians all day, every day. Okay, so then Riley shows up, and they all hug Riley. They're so happy, and I love Riley because he's like, my shit fucking stinks. And when someone in the group, because Christian shows up, and he's looking like, oh my God, he looks like a fucking extra from Grease. Like, he just looks like Summer Levin, like, had me a blast. Like,
yes, he does. He does. That was what terrible. I wrote. I could not. He was Danny Zuko to the max. I was like, is this cosplay? I don't understand. They're in New York. And half of me is like, please tell me that like while Christian was in New York, and he was like, you know what? Big time dream bucket list. I think I'm the life of the party is going to have myself a Broadway audition. Why? How did you come with that look? I mean, was that real?
The back of it is like embroidered with Adam cats, whatever that is. I didn't look it up. And he's like, everybody's expecting me to like come out here and talk about my Playboy ways. And I was like, Playboy? Nobody thinks that you are an Edina, Midwestern Playboy. So
no, it's funny, Christian. We think that you are the kind of annoying drunk guy that wants to like pick up on women on bars, and they just sort of like. There's ones that like will just acquiesce and just like be nice and talk to, and there's probably like the ones that like are probably really mean to you. Yeah. The ones that are like, that happens a lot to him. Go on.
It does. So Riley is like, I want to talk to Nicola because I don't think that you should use the Bible to defend your bad behavior. Also, I don't think it's right because he's very dismissive of her feelings. And we're like, you are dismissive of Riley's, of
Violet.
Violet's feeling. So it's just really interesting that you aren't able to see that difference. And then David enters, and they're all very happy to see David. And David has like an entourage of 3. He's got everybody doing all the things for him. And he looks great. He's got his hair is this way, his contacts are in, his beard is full.
Okay. Yes. Let's talk about is it the beard, or did he lose some lbs? Because men have this thing where like they can like get either they lose weight, and I can't really tell weight on people, but like, or they have like a beard that gives them a jawline, and it shades them like contour, and I can't tell. You know what I'm saying? Which one is it?
I personally believe that every man looks better with a beard.
Me too.
So yeah.
I mean, again, a taken care of beard, you can't ZZ Top us.
Oh yeah, taking care of one. And so he looks good. Everyone's excited to see him. And then Statler asks like, who are you not interested in? And he's like, I think Amanda's really mean to Rosman. And I was like, oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. And then Statler talks about not liking Jasmine and is really triggered. I mean, Statler is triggered throughout this whole thing, but she is super triggered about Jasmine. And then we get like shots of a foot, and we get shots of like a silky lime green, and then we see like some fake ass, ugly ass costume jewelry. And then Gino walks in, and he's like, "Hi guys."
Like, oh, we were just talking about how bad we feel for you, and how crazy toxic Jasmine is, and how happy we are that we don't have to see her in the flesh. Yes, we're so happy we don't have to see her. Very like, ugh, it'd be bad for us. Anyway, hi.
Yes, and then Jasmine walks in, and she's like, "Hello, I would just like to say that I heard everything you said, and you guys are very judgmentalist. And I would like for everybody to give me the opportunity to be who we are. I am not perfect." And listen, I was Team Jasmine. She came in there and she was like, "Oh, I'm not going to give you who you see on TV. I'm going to be a nice person because I'm a nice person to everyone but Gino." So if you like, oh, it was great. She had just got into the States, and she sits down next to him. At some point, she does like the when she's on stage, I'm skipping forward, but when she's on stage, she does the Angelina Jolie leg thing, and she is just sitting there with one leg out. And I was like, listen, I can't hate. You're doing your best.
Well, I have a question. Was Dan's name Dan, or was it Dane early on in the season?
Oh no, it's Dane, but that's how she says it. She's not saying Dane. She said Dan.
No, but Sean Robinson says Dan.
Oh, Sean is wrong because Sean doesn't watch the show. That man's name is Dane.
I was like, Dane? You mean Dane? And I was like, listen, obviously I am no saint. And if you listen to this podcast, there's nothing I do more than fuck up names left and right. I mean, also, I guess you're
Saint Christine, patron saint of shower caps.
Scottish shower caps, like by order of the Queen, Scottish shower caps. I have this like Japanese hair mask inside. It's called Infenum Superior Treatment of, I don't know why I think it's Japanese. Is it
yeah, because Infenum. Okay.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was Japanese.
Oh yeah, that is Japanese.
You see on Patreon, it's all the writing. But yeah, it's Milbon. It's like this. It's a Milbon thing. It's great. So she's doing all the beauty for you, as you can see. Anyway, yes, God bless. So you know, Jasmine, obviously the last we saw her, she was crying at the visa place or whatever. And so Sean's not going to do a quick check-in to everyone and be like, okay, quick. Okay, last time we saw you, visa place, obviously that worked out. She was like, obviously, yes. Quick check-in, like Violet and Riley are not together. And Gino's like, but what about that baby? And then Sean's like, wait, Gina, wait, I see what you did. Let me have the thing here. Let me do the work, So let me do the work right now. And let me do a little Sean Robinson by saying, let's go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Whew, okay, everybody, 5 minutes, walk and stretch, get some water.
Why aren't you defending me?
Oh my God. And then Misha tells Gino in front of Jasmine, I am scared for you. Okay. I want you to know that her behavior is inappropriate. And Jasmine just has to sit there and take it. And then Jasmine's like, that's very bully of you.
Yeah. You are literally a bully. You are nothing but a bully. But you know what? She bullied herself away. Like, no, nothing is more like a walking men loves bitches than Gino and Jasmine.
Yep. Okay. Ready to come back? All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening to those commercials. We absolutely appreciate it. So, as Chris was saying, Sean Robin checks in with everybody. Jasmine refers to everyone as being a bully. Amanda and Rosvin, like Amanda walks in and beelines it to the seat. She doesn't say hi to anybody. And they're like, oh, okay. Hello. And she's like, she's fully on defensive mode. She doesn't want to talk to anybody. She doesn't want anybody to talk to her. And yeah.
I think that's how she is. I think that's how she is. I don't think she walks in with any sort of like warmth or grace to any sort of room. I don't think she's the kind of person that like where all eyes are on her when she enters because she carries a certain amount of like, magnetism. I think that she's someone who like and then goes into her corner.
Yeah, she probably okay. Well, I don't know
what
her,
I think she's pretty, so God bless.
It's like, who cares, Chris? No one cares that you think Amanda, who's not pretty, is pretty. Okay, you keep saying that.
I feel bad every time I say something bad about her. That's me giving you some sweetness, you know. Also, think that girl probably really cares about that kind of shit. So,
God, whatever. She looks a little different than she did when we last saw her.
Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, she just walks in and she's mean to everybody. They get on stage. We find out that Chloe and Christian are still together, and we're sad. Misha is very surprised at this, and if we find out that Misha and Nicola haven't seen each other in a year, 1 solid year, he is such a jerk for not coming to visit her within that time. But he's coming on Sunday, so
yeah. Can I jump forward and say the thing that this is a surprise that I thought it was kind of dumb?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. Is that here's the thing. So obviously, the whole thing is that like Misha's gonna, got him to come, and they're waiting for her to have her annulment. Because as we know, she's been divorced and married, therefore living in sin. He's a virgin. And the best parts of their storyline during the tell-all will be the sex part that we'll talk about later. But this other part is like kind of this dumb part that producers obviously set up to be some elicited emotional response, which is this. Okay, so obviously Catholics, once you get married in Catholic church, you're fucking married or whatever. But there's this one little loophole, this illegal loophole of getting, your marriage absolved or whatever, or absolved. No, that's not what it is. Your marriage, I forgot what the word is. Well, do you remember the word? Annulled, sorry. Annulled, and if you can do that, you can get married again. Which like low key is what my dad did after his marriage to my mother. But then he did get married again. Then he got redivorced. You can only do it once.
But he got married to the second one in the Catholic Church.
Yep. Oh. Actually, no. So
then what was the point?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I blocked it out. Yes. Wow, that's crazy. I was there. Oh my God. Just a side notice, and I'm so sorry. When my dad got married the second time, she had 2 daughters who wailed during the wedding like it was their funeral. And I wish in that one moment I had the wherewithal and strength to be like, that seems weird, and maybe we should just think about not doing this. If they're thinking that's okay to do scream during this ceremony, and that's the mother, we're all thinking that's fine, that she's gonna let her grown-ass daughter scream and cry at her wedding. Also, and I mean this, my dad is a fucking saint, and the thought of him marrying you and what these, I just can't imagine what I wish I had gone back in time and been like, you know what, fuck you guys, you by the way, I should be the one crying. And I did later at night because I have fucking class.
It's funny because I came into your life at the end of this. And so to me, she is just the woman who took her daughters and a husband. Okay, wait. This is my memory of you went to dinner. You was your dad, the lady, at least one of her daughters, and the daughter's husband, and y'all were eating. And at the end of the meal, nobody, not even that grown ass man, reached into his motherfucking pocket to pay for shit. And that's the only and the first memory I have of you talking to me about them. And I was like, what a loser. How do you not pay? Like, how do you just sit there and let someone else? And so in my mind, I thought they were super young. But if you said that they were adults when those two got married, then yeah, freeloaders.
I mean, whatever. Actually, it all worked out for the best. You know, he didn't ever get married again. But Misha
Anyways.
during this tell-all is like, guess what, guys? I have a surprise, Nicola. The tribunal has spoken, and the elders have said with smoke signals to the Pope and Catholics, whatever they do, which is all kind of true. They do have these smoke signals anyway. This is all kind of weird, true. That, but this is not how the annulment happens. But she's like, they gave me the annulment, yay! And Nicola, who has, I guess, been praying this entire time for this, I don't know, whole ass crux of his entire life's plan. I mean, really, it's like the annulment happens or he never gets to get fucked or whatever. Like his reaction is, oh, Misha, good.
I have a question, Chris.
Great.
If she, the only reason she needed to get an annulment is because she married in the Catholic Church the first time, right? Like, do you need to get an annulment?
Yeah, but no. If she was married legally on paper, then you know, yes, she didn't. Whether she got married or not, I think that in the eyes of God, it would look bad on him if he was marrying a married woman who had gotten married not in the church. Because the thing about it is,
how would they know though?
She on legal paper, she's gotten married.
Yeah, but does the Catholic Church like look it up?
You could.
Oh,
these are all legal. Yeah, I mean, also for him. He already supposedly hasn't had sex in any sort of light or darkness for 40 years. So he knows whether this woman has gotten married or not. In his own Catholic mind, he can't marry someone who's been married before unless it's been annulled.
Okay. That was my whole thing the whole time. I was like, why do they have to know about the marriage you had 20 years ago? Are they going to check? Okay.
It's him.
Yeah.
He's not even living his life to the dotting every I, crossing all the T's,
crossing all the crosses.
Crossing all the crosses. You know, but like at the end of the day, I don't want to. Okay. Do you think that he's a virgin or by choice still to this moment?
I think that in his youth
that somehow some girl
he's not had sex, but I think that in his youth he wanted to. And then I think that by the time he turned like 32 and it hadn't happened, he decided to give over his life fully to the Lord.
Do you think he's had a mouth around his member?
Absolutely not. Well, maybe when he was younger and didn't have such ferocious bags under his eyes, like maybe he could have bagged somebody. Like maybe.
Okay, let me ask you other questions. Do you think that his finger has found a warm pocket?
Oh no, he doesn't know anything about it. Listen, I'm with Jasmine. The fact that this man is like, I took sex ed in 5th grade. So I know Misha, she's gonna show me. I know exactly what to do. It's not very hard. And everyone's like, dude, it's gonna be hard. Riley even is like, I give him 38 seconds, 38.7 seconds to be inside that warm, gushy. And he's going to be like, ooh, like everyone, no one, no, everyone. Jasmine's like, 5th grade anatomy isn't going to tell you shit about having sex.
Riley, talk about a resurrection. Riley, I think, came to this tell-all with one of the bitter glow-up personality-wises. Because the entire season, Riley is giving us like, wah, Riley. He's so like needy and overly emotional, and he's like, it feels insecure at all times. Like there's parts of watching people where I see, parts of me that I'm working on or despise, and to watch him, I feel like display these things so strongly just made me like kind of like get mildly repulsed. I'm like, no wonder why Violet wouldn't want anything to do with you. To me, I always thought that. And the way things are coming about, the tide has turned in such a way that A, I don't know if I can even hang my hat on her, even though I loved her so much. But B, also Riley is great in so many ways. While you said it to like him coming out with a vulnerability, being like, well, my shit stinks. A, I look crazy. But also B, being like, this, that I want to, like he feels a lot more real.
Yeah, he does. He seems less put upon smoking a cigar in his home with his legs crossed, listening to Elton John. That's who they presented. And now we have somebody.
Closer, time to dance.
Yeah. Benny and the Jets. Yeah. Okay.
Seems to me you live your life like a candle in the wind.
Yep. Then there's that Lion King song. I couldn't think of it. Sorry, I missed it.
Circle. Oh no. He
No.
did all Lion King. So
Wait.
But he also did Can You Feel
Yeah.
the Love Tonight? By the way, I got a new microphone podcast. Okay, so sorry.
Okay.
For the podcast regulars, a new microphone. So can you tell the difference when I sing? Great. Okay,
bye. So then we move on to Statler and Dempsey, which I don't want. We have a scene where like Statler like has to poop in the woods like a fucking bear.
Too much of that.
Then they talk about how they're gonna get into a caravan and they're gonna just like sell all their stuff and travel around. And let me tell you, Statler is a little PUSSY. Because to Dempsey's face, she says yes and all this shit. And behind her back, she's talking shit about it to this friend named Natalie. This friend named Natalie who doesn't fucking think that Dempsey is special. And when she said that, I was like, fuck you. And Statler just sat there and was like, yeah, we need some couples counseling. We need to learn how to communicate with each other. I haven't sold all my stuff yet because the truth is I don't want to do this, but Dempsey really wants to. So I'm going to do it, but then also be upset about it. Right? Isn't that what it felt like?
Yeah, it's weird because it's like, if Dempsey isn't special, then the fucking problem is you have a narcissistic love-bombing friend that jumps into relationships and makes it seem like their connection is so strong that they have to be together because there's no other choice but this. So it would be in crazy mixed signals if you're telling this person who's now allowing someone to move across the world for them that they're not special. The problem therein lies with your friend. Because he went on a whole goddamn season making Dempsey and us believe how special Dempsey is in her life. And Dempsey is lovely, special, has high emotional intelligence, is giving us gorgeous eyes and honest communication, yeah, I hated when she said that. I thought it was really rude. Another weird thing that also happens is suddenly now they're both all wishy-washy on whether they're going to have kids. Now, having said this, it's not that I think it's weird in the sense of we can all like change our minds. It's just, and maybe this is like a year after that. And it's just interesting how like even Dempsey, who was like, I just always, again, sorry the accent, I always saw my grandfather and my dad and I always wanted to have kids and have a special relation. I know whatever this is. But you're welcome. I hate you so much. Anyway, so Waz face. If you're ready to if you have to like see the judgment, talk about Jasmine. Don't bully me.
Wow. I mean, she just like went into an Irish accent so quick, which is crazy. If you can do an Irish accent, then you should be able to do Jamaican patois because it's the same. It comes from the same thing.
I know, but that's the problem.
Like the Irish who just like indentured servitude in Jamaica and just stayed there. Okay. So
my Russian is Arabic.
Oh yeah, it is. So yeah, Natalie is rude. Dempsey is like, I don't care what she thinks. And whenever a friend says, I don't care what she thinks or they think, no, whenever a significant other doesn't care what the partner's friends think, I really do feel like they're setting themselves up for a world of trouble. You're going to have to win over that friend. You have to. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. That person's going to be invited to things. And let me tell you, Wahid Molino, I cannot be at a party with somebody I don't like because I will ignore the shit out of them. Like fully, they will talk to me and I will look at them and I will be like, and keep going. I can't be fake. I can't be cordial. I can't have manners. I can't. I don't have manners. I will just be me and be rude and let them know I don't like them and like, don't fucking talk to me. And so I thought that was just really interesting that Statler, as much shit as she was talking about everybody else and like really jumping in on, Nicola and her best friend Amanda, it felt like it was too much. So
But yeah, but then she's like, at the end of the day, like, just take care of my Ren because she's so special and she's so great. And then just like, and then yeah, and then fucking they cry. And
Yeah.
at that point, I want to be like, if I was Dempsey's dad, I'd be like, you better run. Sorry.
Yeah, you know, David also agrees that the sex is going to be really like hard for Nicola. So then we have Nicola's stepdaughters, Moreya and Savea, come out, and they just said that they don't want to feel like they're being judged. And Statler's like, no, no, no. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Not only are you going to be fucking judged, but then he's going to get in between you and your mother, and your relationship with your mother is going to forever change. And I was like, Statler, who the fuck are you to say that? And Misha doesn't react in the way I would react. Misha just looks at her daughter's dead in their eyes, and she's like, I will check him. You come first.
Yeah, there's something about, I mean, Misha is, I really like Misha, like for a bunch of reasons, you know, like I hate her choices and no one's perfect. And if I knew probably all of her like beliefs in this world, I'm surely wouldn't feel the same. But I will say that she comes across in a lot of great ways. And she also comes off in a lot of confusing ways. One confusing way is, why the F would you be with this person? Why would you be with this person? What does this person possibly give you at all? What is like, because I mean, it only makes me feel like she has some sort of like saint fetish, or she has some sort of pious fetish. I can't do. What is this man going to give you? He does not know this world at all. He thinks he does, and he doesn't. And I know, Misha, I know you know that. And how can you let someone who thinks that they know the world and doesn't, but also has a strong belief that he gets to make the decisions when his discernment level is so off? How, when I see you and I see the choices you've made, not all of them I can know, but the ones that are, I'm like, well, you have two beautiful daughters that are, you know, strong and eloquent, can speak their feelings in a very present way, you know, like, you're gorgeous. Obviously, that's neither here nor there, but you put yourself in together, honey. And, you know, like, choices are made with an eye of discernment there. And how do you not like see the obvious misalignment of him in your life? Like, you cannot let this person come and tell you what to do. He's dumb. What are you talking? Here's what the fuck he's talking about. Like, that's why the one thing is like Statler makes so many, like, you know, really strong opinions that I'm like, okay, I wish you could do yourself a favor. But the other parts that she wants to say, and I will give her this, she's like, bitch, it's not all Catholics or whatever, fine. But can you just, like, great joke. Jesus, you know, like, literally multiplied fishes. It's one of like the things I know about Jesus, is that he's a miracle maker with the fish. And so if Jesus taught you something, that there can literally always be more fish in the sea. And if there's one fish in a loaf of bread, you rest assured by nightfall, 15 more fishes. Go and get yourself another fucking fish. Like, there's going to be better. Like, and I felt like that was specifically the best, most genuine advice to give her, because it had to do with the biblical shit, and it was just incredibly real. And when she's having her moments with her daughters where she knows she has to connect with them to make them feel safe, my thought process is because, bitch, you know how unsafe this feels. How are you? But I feel like I'm so hyper anxious and aware of this. I feel like in all parts of life, when it comes to romance, like, my immediate, I have like, is like to pull a parachute and get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I had kids, I don't even know what I would do. You know, so all of it is just this part is so confusing to me. I don't know what to do. Well, I'm like mad, obviously.
Yeah. We all know that he's not of the world. So it's going to be really hard for her and for him to be away from his family. He's not going to be able to live in Minnesota. I don't think he's going to be able to leave Jerusalem. His simple life fishing, like, what is he going to do during the winter times here? He's not going to fish. Oh, delicious.
Go to that fancy highfalutin tech Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's Taco true. Bell. I wonder if there's, I'd have to go to Blaine and see what's up there. Okay.
Oh, I noticed. Sorry. Do you remember when Christian and Misha saw each other and they're like, babe, Michigan babe.
Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Two things happened. And I obviously, okay, sorry. Yes. Two things happened. Let me just back up because it's my own fault. A, they're both from Minnesota. That's true. And so That's true that Christian walks in, sees Misha, and they're like, hey, I know where you live. I know where you live. We're neighbors. In a whole different part of the same tell-all, Jasmine comes in and is like, oh, I can't tell you how stupid this place Michigan is. God did not need to make Michigan. It's so cold. And maybe this is where Wah feels like she was coming for Sean Robinson's seat, because Sean Robinson, honey, was like, bitch, I'm from Michigan. Come correct.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like Detroit, Michigan is the only part of Michigan that Black people are proud to say they're from. Any other Black person that's met that's from outside of Detroit is like, oh, I hate Michigan. So I wonder if Sean is from Detroit. That'd be great to know.
Motown and Motortown.
Yes, right. Motortown and Motown. Do you think Motown is just short for Motortown?
Has to be. Now that we said it out loud, that seems.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I think you're right.
Motown Philly.
Back again. You know what I was thinking? You know, I've been thinking this, Chris.
Okay. What?
We were all very upset that they didn't sing Motown Philly.
Wait, go
and
back.
I think it's because I think it's because they must have some kind of copyright. Like maybe Michael Bivins didn't give, like whoever wrote that song did not give them the right to sing it outside of whatever. Okay, and I'll tell them, hold on. And also I really, really, really want them to give us a cover album of just covers. Okay, let me tell you. 3 years ago, Chris and I, Monique, and maybe one other person,
Erica,
went to the Hollywood Bowl to see the best show. We saw TLC with just the T and the C, and we saw Boyz II Men. And Boyz II Men fucking rocked the house. They did not sing Motown Philly, but they sang everything else we wanted to hear. They also sang covers of 3 different brands, one of them being like a rock song, and Sean got out his guitar. It was beautiful. So ever since then, I have been low-key waiting for a Boyz II Men's cover album where they just do covers of songs. It was so freaking good. And anyways,
it was so good, but the lights came on and people were standing on their chairs at the Hollywood Bowl in disbelief that the last song in some sort of encore wouldn't be Motown Philly. And like people were like chanting and pissed, and it was a great concert, but people were like, no fucking no like the disbelief, you know. And I was like,
all down the hill as we were walking down, every single Gen X and early millennial was like, I can't believe they didn't sing Motown Philly. Wow, they didn't sing Motown Philly. It was like, as a community, we were all very shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also like, so they got so famous obviously for their love songs, right? Like Motown Philly's not a love song. It's like, you know, obviously like it's a poppin', you know, like, you know,
R&B,
whatever that, it's like, yeah, beat. And obviously you get to hear
swing. It's New Jack Swing.
Yeah, New Jack Swing. And you get to hear their like, you know, obviously sick ass harmonies, you know, like. So yeah, you're right. There might have been some sort of copyright thing, but that was, I'll never forget the pissed off. I mean, like, it's still so funny. I'll never forget it. You know?
Okay, lastly, let's talk about Riley and Violet. I don't know who to believe. Is Violet like a liar who's got caught in lies, possibly because she didn't think it was real with this American who didn't want to give her any money? And did she get pregnant? They didn't even say, did she lose the baby? They never said it.
They're keeping that. They know that. They know that they know what they're doing. Okay. They have specifically kept that under wraps, and that is what they will reveal in part 2. That's why God bless what's her face, Sean Robinson, when Gino tried to ask it on minute 3, was like, ha ha ha, aha.
We'll get back to that. Yeah. You know what they also tried to bait us when Jasmine was hanging out with Dane, and she had dinner with him on Valentine's Day, and she was like, I don't even know it was Valentine's Day, but then she's like, yeah, September 14th. I'm like, bitch, say the 13th, say the 12th. You know what it is. She's like, he proposed that we have dinner. I was like, did he propose? They caught us with that too twice. I don't know what to say about the lies, but then Tiffany comes out. And if this was Tiffany's best, honey, I mean, Riley liked her shoes, but I didn't think they were nothing special. But she kept on, Mm. She kept doing that. I was like, dang, Tiffany. We needed her in the audience. We needed her in the audience.
I wonder if it's a thing where, like, if Riley was to ever go on Pillow Talk, he would need her.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's like a thing, you know?
Or the lady who took him to the airport, but really, we've already forgotten about her. We need Tiffany.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Some curly-haired best friend took him to the airport.
Forgot about that person. Yeah. Basically, Christian and Cleo really don't do much except people are surprised that they're still together. And Christian has moments where he's like, you know, back when they're talking about Nicola, like when he's like, yeah, you have to still learn about the clit. Remember that part?
I mean, there was so much ragging on Nicola. Every single time he said, I'll be fine, everyone's like, no, you fucking won't, because all of us experienced this between the age of 15 and 21. You are 46. And you don't know. You're just, I mean, she's gonna have to be on top because I mean, we all have had bad sex in this day and age. Could you imagine how terrible he's gonna be? He's not even gonna care about her orgasm at all.
Well, in good, what orgasm? Not in the Bible. It doesn't exist. But this back to this, yeah, it's kind of a little confusing because I don't want to give us all the information, and it's like we're going back and forth. But basically, the whole thing was Violet had not either deactivated her dating profile or whatever, and she wants to be like. And they're asking her like, why were you logging in when you shouldn't have been logging in? And she's like, oh no, I deleted it from my phone. And then she's like, well, I just logged in to see if you were logging in, like, you know, and then I lost my password. Like there's like 4 different lies that come really fast. But one thing is, again, we and everyone was like, so just like Lowski, like, when the fuck did you bone? You know, like, what? You know, like also what? You know, and she was like, you know, I can't have that be like something that's on TV that I would even go back to the hotel. Like it's just in the culture. I'm like, okay, but you're on a television show. And so like, how did they not, you know, whatever. Okay. Like they're going to film whatever they fucking want to film. Anyway, God bless. So then, you know, yes, I guess the night after like their big fight, she calls him back and they have condomless sex, and everyone's pissed at Riley for it, you know, including his friend Tiffany, you know, which I thought that was funny. It was like, if you do one thing, it's when you go, I don't know, across the world to meet the person that you're talking to, you bring a fucking condom. And he wants to be like, there's science and there's miracles. You know, like the whole thing is, again, he's like, I know what I have. And it's like either problems and or side effects of medication and or maybe a mixture of both, where he is like not the most fertile. So knowing that, and knowing they only had sex once, then knowing like what it's also the timeline. It's like you know, they are not talking. Suddenly she's saying that they're pregnant, and then they jump back to when before he came, when he had caught her in lies, and you know, he's like, I tried to cut it off. I didn't want to talk to her. She's the one that went around to my family to get me back. And Loki also bring up the PI thing where, you know, Sean Robinson is like, as Americans, do we find that normal? Is that a normal thing? And the truth of the matter is, maybe not a PI, but like I think it's normal in day and age to like at least get a phone number and go to like spokio.com and be like, well, what's happening with this phone number? Like, I think
what
internet.
the hell is spokio.com?
I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you can look up or Google someone's phone number and pay like, you know, $2.99 for a search report to see like if they've been arrested, which I'll tell you, Loki knows that in my life, this is something that I have done and been surprised when I found the results that were not anything those people were going to tell me.
I mean, but should they have to tell you that they'd been arrested?
You know what? Here's the thing. They don't have to tell me. Now, do I deserve to know? I think I do.
Oh,
now, this is subjective. Okay. They, at some point, if we were in a relationship, I would say yes, I deserve that they would have to tell me. For my own personal, I would not allow myself to be with someone who kept something from their past that is significant that they think I would be upset about like that. I would be I'd be like taken aback and been like, you're going to fucking keep anything that you think, then you're going to, in your mind.
Being arrested? Huh. I think people get arrested.
Well, you know, I think that these are I think that these are subjective things, you know?
Oh, if I had been arrested, would you be my friend?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay, great. To me, I'm like, I don't need
If
to.
I
I
was
don't.
starting a life with you and we're gonna have kids together and we are co-doing our finances and we're applying for loans together and stuff like that. I don't know what's on reports. Sometimes people get arrested, sometimes people have records. There's all the things in the world of the legalities of things, you know? And in certain points, you're in a partnership, you should know certain things. But at the same time, I'm happy to do as a female, especially if I'm dating someone that I met off the internet, but even early on, as a female, I like to do a little bit of like public record information for people so that I feel safe. Maybe
Yeah,
it's like the thing with Cleo. Like, there's what do we do? The ways that we micro, or Chloe, sorry,
Cleo.
Cleo, the way we micromanage our life to try and control the things that we think would throw us full of loop. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am trying to think like I don't I can't imagine merging my finances with anybody. So in my mind, you are a fleeting individual. And if even if you have been arrested, if you currently own a home and are doing really well for yourself, I don't think that I would hold that against you. And so it's like, yeah, for me, even if they told me, yeah, I got arrested in college cuz me and my friends were like drinking and like whatever, or I had a DUI, like I was young and I made a stupid choice and like got into a car accident and went to prison for a year. I had to do that manslaughter. Like, I guess I just know too many people in my life who have had things happen to them that I know that these things for me, and I'm not judging you. I just, for me, that's the reason why I wouldn't necessarily, if you're doing well now, even if you were on drugs heavily back, I would need to know that because I'm like, in case my money goes missing. But like,
But
but
yeah,
like
how would you know?
if it wasn't a financial crime or like something, I don't know. All of Libby's family's been arrested. Like I feel like everybody on 90 Day Fiancé has been arrested.
I just wanted like the difference is again, I would want to know and know the circumstances. There are different circumstances for everything. You just described too that, and you could have easy ones and we have ones from Lubbock or Lockup where you have an addict or something like that who, yeah, fucking, I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many different gamuts of this, but yeah,
Yeah.
when I
It's a
said arrest,
gamble.
I could have even also said divorces. I would want to know if
Oh,
someone,
okay.
what if I'm dating someone, I was like, have you been married? Like, no, never been married. And then I look up and I'm like, oh, he absolutely has been married. Like, why would he lie about that? We
Yeah.
did kids, he didn't tell me. I mean, who the fuck knows? Billions of things I could have also said besides arrest did, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Um
Okay, so having said that, they kind of cut this off vaguely, right? They don't
mhm.
give us an answer of like either here nor there, but I
But
will
do you
say
care?
mostly.
Who
Well,
cares?
because
Yeah.
I Violet presented in such a fierce kind of strong woman way, and then what we see is a Violet on this who at one point starts to cry.
Did you think those tears were real? Because I did not.
Right, because that's why I asked it as a question. Is that what it was? She goes like this. Ready? This is what I saw. Ready? Now, if you're listening to us on this on this podcast, like, what are these bitches doing? They sound like so I hear breathing. If you're on Patreon, you know that we're trying to like show you someone who's like just padding with a dry tissue underneath her eyes.
Because wouldn't her makeup, I mean, maybe it was all waterproof, but she had on lower lash eyeliner. Chris, it's a lot. Chris, I was like, are you crying, bitch? She's not crying. She's not crying. Oh, she's not crying, girl. She's not crying. She's a mentirosa. She's lying. I don't
Yeah,
trust her, and I don't want to see the
I
story
know.
anymore because Riley's a fool.
I guess like that was the last thing. It's like I got it now. That Riley, I always knew that Riley was foolish or Riley was whatever. I thought that she was just kind of cool and chill, but now I'm like, oh no, she's fucking weird. And I believe Riley when he
Hmm.
said, no, this is the kind of bitch she is. She's the kind of bitch that really wanted me to chase after her, clicking and screaming and being like, please, please, please. And so she did this to
Yeah.
get me to do that. And when it cuts to her I was like, "Oh, no, that is it's true." And that made me like him more because I was like, "Oh, at least now you're aware with all," you know? Anyway,
Hmm.
that's all I have for this app.
Me too. All right, you guys, you know you can find us on Patreon for $10 a month at patreon.com/docusweeties. But if you don't have that, Chris will tell you what to do. You should get Patreon so you could see our crying faces. Chris?
Please just go to your social medias and you can just give us free follows, free likes, and free 5-star ratings, which is a great way to give us free support. You know, like you don't have to give us money support, although if you want to, that's what Patreon is. But truly, any support and news listening enough is filling us with joy and glee. Except for Wah, who's crying about it. But she'll cry even harder if you don't follow us at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, at DocuSweeties1 on X. There's a podcast, DocuSweeties Facebook group. We're doing it all. We're doing it for you. We're also doing it for money. And we love you guys so much.
Bye.
Bye.